Put my phone on mute.
Dolphins thirsty, they never show no mercy. On the field or in the game, Miami knows how to play. Dolphins thirsty, we all get down and dirty. Tell you what you wanna know, it's the Dolphins Show. Quench your thirst for all things Miami Dolphins. They are the football kings, cause they play to win. Come on in and have some fun, whether we have lost or we have won. For all things Miami, it's Dolphins Thursday.
Hi guys, and welcome to a girl power episode of Dolls Fan Diaries. I am joined with the lovely must be Marissa, wait, this side, and the lovely 305 Sports Babe. Thank you both for coming on tonight.
Of course.
Super excited to be here.
Very much so.
I'm very glad. I love my girl power episodes because I think we need our voices out there more. So we're going to start off, unfortunately, with the playoff game, Kansas City Dolphins. Marissa, what were your thoughts on the game? How are you feeling? Are you emotionally recovered?
I think I'm slowly getting there. It would have been a little bit better if the Bills had lost tonight. I would have maybe felt better. But I've slowly eaten my weight in my feelings. And so I know you and I talked about that, Courtney, about, crumble cookie. And I have some Ben & Jerry's in my fridge for a little bit later. So I'm working my way.
That's all you can do. Yeah, my crumble cookies were for Xavier Howard leaving. Not so much the game. I drowned myself in alcohol.
There you have it.
All right, 3 or 5. How you were in Kansas City? You were.
I was. It was crazy. Like, I mean, I could tell you the whole entire thing, but first of all, leaving there, you just had to get out, right? Like at that point when the game ended, it was the coldest, right? So for me, it hasn't sunk in yet. And then we stayed an extra day because we had flight issues. So we just got home this morning. So even yesterday, like I'm still enjoying the city and stuff. It just sunk in now when I got home. And I'm watching TV, I'm watching the Bills game. I'm like, no, this is like it. So it didn't sink in. At the game, we were just, I can tell you how bad the cold was. Obviously, you guys have an idea. But it didn't sink in leaving there. We were just so focused on getting into the car to warm up. And then, so I'm still like processing it now. But it hasn't fully hit me the way it probably hit you guys yet.
How did the layers, like how many layers, like dress-wise, like how many layers did you have on? And did they even help? Because it was total.
Yeah, so here's the thing. We live in Miami, but I'm originally from Jersey. So you think like the Jersey part would have prepped me? Psych, not at all. So what I wore like heated yoga pants. And then I wore my dolphin yoga pants. And then I bought snow pants at this like store called Columbia, which is, you guys know Columbia. It's like a snow place. So I had that. And on top I had an insulated white like turtleneck tee with another tee, and then I bought a puffy Michael Kors cheetah jacket, and then I had my Tyreek jersey over it. So honestly, like my legs were fine, my chest was fine. The part that got me the worst was the feet. So I wore my sparkly boots that a lot of women have these days. So I wore that, and I wore 2 pairs of socks. But even that, like it went right through. And we did the cardboard thing where you put the cardboard on the ground because they say if you put the cardboard, it prevents your feet from, getting cold. It didn't work. So the feet, honestly, were the only issue. But they literally felt like it was a movie Saw and someone was cutting off your toes, but your toes weren't falling off.
Did you put the hand warmers in your shoes?
I did that. Didn't work. And then we did 2 things of hand warmers. My hands were fine too. It was just the feet, but the feet were just the pain of, and that wasn't just me. A lot of people have the feet thing. But
now I do have a question. What are heated leggings? I have never heard of that in my life.
So they're not necessarily like heated, but they're like if you were to take like a fluffy blanket and put that inside the leggings, that's kind of what they are. I bought them on Amazon and they're so comfy. They make you look thick, right? Like if it's like putting a blanket in your pants. But they help. My legs and my chest were fine. And then your face, like I don't have a face mask. We can't buy a face mask. You probably, if you wanted to rob a bank, you could probably buy a face mask down here. But they don't sell face masks. So I wrapped my scarf around my face. But if you had any part of your face exposed, like you were done.
How was the Dolphins turnout? Like the Dolphin fans? Like how much of us were there?
We showed up. So I held a pregame party, and I've done a lot of pregame parties in different cities before, and usually the attendance is between 30 and 70. So I told this restaurant maybe 50 or 60. I undershot it so bad. Oh my gosh. But this place could not have been cooler. Like they were so awesome. We had the whole entire place. So it worked out well. We had about over 200 people at my pregame party. And then in general, I would say 20%, 25% of Arrowhead was Dolphin fans. A good 25%.
That's awesome.
Take it. Yeah.
All right, ladies. I want to ask you, looking back, our season's over, unfortunately, despite the reasons why. What was your favorite memory of the season? Game, moment in the game, anything, Dolphin? What was your favorite? And then alternatively, what's the one thing you would change? One game, one play, one moment, just one. Do you think you could have changed that would have completely rewrote our season?
Yeah.
With you.
Who?
Are you want to go first or you want to?
I said Marissa. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Didn't hear you. So for
I don't know if
me,
you even plugged in.
for me, it has to be the Broncos game.
Oh, yeah.
Just because I literally had just moved into my new place and it was my first night, my first day watching a game in this house. And it was just incredible. I had never seen anything like it. It's one for the history books. It's a game that I will never forget. If I ever have children that can speak, unlike my dog and my cats, I will tell them all about that game. So for me, it was amazing. I mean, I was on my feet for most of the game, and I don't think I had a voice by the end of it. And I just don't know how many games you get like that in your lifetime where you see a team do the kind of things that happened. So hands down, one of my top games. And for me, one of the things I would change on the season has to be that Titans game. If I was to pick one thing, I mean, I love Bradley Chubb so much, but throwing that helmet in the field, I mean, that just kind of everything went downhill from there. And so if I could, that was a vet mistake on his part. I know emotions, are so heavy. My emotions are heavy. I can't imagine how, heavy his emotions are. But I feel like once that happened and it stopped us from continuing that drive, I mean, it kind of just went downhill from there. So I love Bradley Chubb, but
we all do, especially what we've seen of
it.
him from Hard Knocks. We're like, who is this guy? This guy's so cute. He's
Yeah.
sweet. Like,
Yeah.
hello.
Yeah. I will say, I am planning, and I think I'm trying to convince Marissa, fan club weekend next year to go down.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
Please. It's the best.
all of you, I want to hit your tailgate, Ashley, and I think we want to all meet up and have like a big thing next year. So,
I would love to help you with that. We can even have like a ladies pregame something. We can organize that where it's just like a ladies thing at one point. And our tailgate is your tailgate, right? So yes, it's our tailgate, but no, when you guys come here, I say welcome home because our tailgate is your tailgate. So I would love to organize and help you guys come down here for sure.
I think it needs to be in the works because I think that would be so much fun. I think it's the best time to go down because I think everybody goes down. It seems
Oh, it's the best. It's so much fun. There's so much going on. The weather is usually great. No, it's October, so yes, please.
I miss it down there. I mean, I lived there for 23 years and I still have friends, all my best friends that I grew up with, my family's down there. And I'm like, you guys, you're going to see me now. Like you said before you wanted to see me, you might regret that because I'm going to be down there multiple times next season. So I'm excited.
Good.
I love that. All right. What are your best and worst of the season?
Yeah. So my season was really wild this year. We actually ended up going to 4 away games. Well, counting this one was 4 away games. Usually my fiance and I do 2 games. This year, how the schedule fell, we did 4. But my favorite game was actually the game where my fiance proposed to me.
Oh.
So, I mean, it's actually my favorite and the worst. My favorite in the sense that, like, it was great. Like, we've been together for many years, 3 years. And so it was like time, and we were in Disney the weekend before. So I kind of thought maybe if something was going to happen, it happened there. And then he did it at the game and I was not expecting it. So it was wonderful. Right.
Right.
But on the same token, we lost that game. And if we won that game, we would have probably had that home game. Yeah. So it's like 50-50, but taking that aspect out of it, my favorite game was probably the Jets game, Black Friday. Was able to go home to Jersey. I don't get to go back there a lot. My uncle has cancer and he's a huge Jets fan. So we're able to bring him to the game with us and to sit with him and to enjoy the game with my uncle. And obviously we won. That was fantastic. And then my least favorite actually was the last home game, the Bills game. Leaving that game, you guys watch it on TV and, once you shut it off, you can go walk the dog. You can go have a glass of wine, you can go eat ice cream. But when you're there and you need to leave the seat, walk through the parking lot, get to your car, that walk of shame is just so deflating. So that game, leaving there, it was just a gut punch. And then seeing the Bills fans, and it was a Bills takeover. Like, hear whatever people say, they showed up for sure. So it felt like leaving Orchard Park in a sense. So it was not nice.
How are they leaving?
I mean, I've never had a problem with Bill. There's two fan bases that I don't want to say I don't like, but I don't like. It's not that I don't like, but they cause problems, right? It's the Ravens and the Eagles.
Oh, the Eagles are
I've never had a problem with any other fan base but those two. So the Bills fans, no, I mean they didn't say they were cool with us in the tailgate. I know there was a lot of beef building up to it, and I really thought there was going to be some serious problems even within our tailgate, but there wasn't any. It was just more of the sense that like, just leaving your home and then seeing them so happy and knowing what that just caused, and we should be playing right now or yesterday or whatever, but no, it was no problems with them. They were fine. They were happy and well deserved.
That's good.
Yeah.
All right, if I have to choose, my favorite game is going to be the Jets game where Mozart got
Yes.
he broke the record for the Dolphins all time. I was so happy for him, and I love his story. I love that he's a 9 year at 31 and he can still show everybody like that he had it. That game, I get goosebumps still because just the happiness I felt for him. I love that. I love the story. I love that he just kind of told everybody to shut up from the offseason, that everybody wanted every other back but him. So that makes me so happy. I was very happy there. The game I would change is going to be Baltimore. Because it's embarrassing. And giving up 56 points. I would never want that on my schedule. I would never want that in the history books. And if we won that game, I think we would have secured the first seed at least for another week. And I think that would have given us the momentum to go forward into the Buffalo game, maybe a little bit more. I don't, but that one, because that was just an utter collapse on all cylinders.
And then Bradley Chubb on top of that.
Yeah.
Chubb, I think, didn't we lose Van Ginkel in that game too? At the very end, isn't that the game we lost? Van Ginkel?
We're like cricket.
I think that we lost Gink too.
It's been a long season, y'all.
Yes.
People in the comments,
sure.
you guys know better than me. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought that we lost Chubb and Van Ginkel.
Definitely Chubb, because that's the controversial game where he kept in the starters when we were down by like 30 points. So I don't think any of us will forget that for sure.
Gink was Buffalo, they're saying. Yeah. I think Gink was Buffalo.
Google is a beautiful thing.
I love it.
Gink was, they're saying Buffalo in the chats. Yeah.
Buffalo. Yeah. He was tackling. Okay. So it was Buffalo. I wasn't back, but still losing Chubb, I think was pretty bad. Oh my God. Evan's going to troll us because he's still in his feelings right now, but to us, that game is exactly where they need it to be. I don't listen. I don't know if you guys do. I don't listen to the after game conferences because I feel like even if the team feels a different way, they're going to put a different persona at that podium. So I know people are like, let's listen and hear what they have to say, but I don't think they're really going to tell you anything more than they want the world to see. So I know that everybody analyzes those and they hate it, but I really think that they have like key phrases that they say and then they go privately.
Of course.
And I don't know how much stock you guys put to these after game conferences, but I don't even watch them.
Well, I mean, I think Mike McDaniel at this point, it's just like record, play, adversity is opportunity, play, adversity is opportunity. And he just keeps it. He keeps what he knows they expect. And he's consistent with that. But yeah, I feel personally, they don't ever give too much away, to be honest.
No, personally, I enjoy the Heat post game. I mean, you guys are also Heat fans as well. Like hearing Bam Bam up there and Jimmy and his facial expressions and like the stuff and like, so I watch those just for like entertainment, right? And then Coach Spell will say how it is. But you are right. Like with the Dolphins, it's kind of very hush hush. It's very private. Like a lot of those players are very private. Like obviously, Tua is very private with his family life. He's not going to go and spill the beans on anything. He does not like the media to begin with. So to even just start with your quarterback not sharing anything. It just trickles down to everybody else.
That actually that reminds me. So I was on Finn's Talk Sports Network, the Goon Squad, where we talk about the Heat, and they had brought up a question, and I want to ask you ladies a question. Who do you think is the greatest coach in any sport in Miami history? Now, I said Don Shula for obvious reasons. People disagreed with me. So I'm curious who you guys think is the greatest coach in all of Miami sports history. Or do you agree with me, or is there somebody else on your mind?
It's probably Shula Spo.
Spo was second. Spo was second.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's Shula too. I think Spo, the reason there's so much there, I mean, obviously Shula has won so much, but like, I feel like with basketball, I mean, he's taken them to quite a few championships, Coach Spo, and he's definitely second for me. But Shula, I mean, I don't know if it's because my affinity is for the Dolphins and they're number one in my heart, but that might just be the case.
We're biased. We're the wrong people to ask.
Yeah, I was too, because I was arguing with them, and people were like, and I was like, listen, Spo is fantastic, but I think that just Don Shula's work ethic, the perfect season, and I think that winning in football is a little harder than basketball as well. Just how the game, especially back in that day, in that time, I think it was harder to go undefeated and to do that. Yeah. But I definitely think Spo is a number two. And if he wins even more championships, I think that he definitely has an argument.
Oh, for sure.
I definitely think like his extension was well earned. And I love all that he's doing. But I'm glad you all agree. Because I said I'm biased probably because there's nobody better.
No one said Adam Gase
or Brian Flores. What?
I went Joe Philbin as a strong third. I just, when I get a field goal, that's just his little punch. It's in my head.
Can't help ourselves.
Cameron. Yeah, we've had some great coaching come through Miami. So moving forward, because obviously the season's over for us, unfortunately, what are 2 changes you want to see? Only 2. You can only give me 2 that you want to see made to the Dolphins. It could be roster, it could be coaching staff, anything. What 2 changes do you want to see made going into next year that will make you think, okay, that's going to be our year. That's our playoff push.
Ooh, that's a good one. I can give you the questionable one. Obviously, it's going to be Tua, right? Do we drop him as a number 2 backup quarterback? Do we leave him? Who else is out there? Do we look at other options for that? I don't know. I mean, we obviously know Russell Wilson did not do well in Denver. He's a low-hanging fruit that people are talking about. So 2 is under the microscope for many, many reasons. Do we change it now? No, we're locked in for another year. But we kind of have to figure out moving forward, do we stick with this? Number 2, I want to say our defense, but I'm not completely disappointed with our defense. Our defense was a roller coaster, right? Vic Fangio was trying to like feel it out and stuff, and I think he did pretty well. If I had to grade him, I'd say he was a B this year, B plus, right? He's about that 87, 88. But I think there's improvements, and obviously there's some players that we know may not be back next year. Obviously Christian Wilkins. So I think it would be, it would probably be really examined into it, which I kind of feel like is an every year talk at this point. And then our defense, if we're going to lose players, let's lose them quick. And then let's see who's going to replace people like Christian Wilkins. Yeah. Oh, I hate saying that. Oh, it hurts saying that.
Listen, I cried all day seeing the Xavier Howard leaving us.
Yeah, she was really in her field.
Every crying GIF that is possibly Twitter would let me use. Anytime somebody commented, it was a picture of somebody crying in a ball, and that was my only response.
Yeah.
All right, Marisa, where do you stand on these?
Special teams coach. Yeah, definitely. I saw that in the comments, but you gotta go. I have not seen anything worth writing home about. I've seen negative things you could write letters to your parents about and say, yeah, this did not go well in this game. So I would absolutely say that. My next piece of the puzzle. I would have to say, I think that we need to deal with the O-line. And if that means figuring out what we're going to do at center. But if you look at the numbers, I mean, Tua had to get, there's a lot of talk about Tua, what he can and cannot do. And I've been on both sides of that coin. But at the same time, information was dropped, statistics, people are dropping them all the time, that Tua is the quarterback who this season by quite a large margin had to get that ball out of his hands in the fastest amount of time. Yep. How would Tua do if he actually had an O-line who gave him time to read the field the way some of these other quarterbacks are getting that? Now, I don't know if he would do well, or he would still, give us some of the results that we don't like. But for me, it's kind of figuring out that center position. What does that look like? Who's going to take care of that O-line for us and be like that number one guy? I'm glad that we've secured up Austin Jackson. He's great for his blind side for Tua, and I think that that's absolutely wonderful. But the rest of that, I think, has been a big hindrance to Tua, and him being able to make the right reads and, not feeling like he has to throw that ball and sometimes into double coverage or, into those interceptions that have cost us some games.
And even with Teron Armstead, right? Like when we signed him from the Saints, I was like, this is amazing. This guy's, super, super good. And he hasn't been all that healthy. We've lost him for a lot of games. So we have to either, figure out what we're going to do with him as well. When he's good and he's healthy, he's good, but he's not dependable in regards to health-wise. So that's a concern.
He also just mentioned he's considering retirement.
No, yeah.
I saw that. I don't know how serious he is about it, but that would be a big gap to fill as well.
Yeah.
I mean, our backups didn't do terrible. I think they weren't the worst, considering that there were some that I was like, oh, I didn't even know he was on our team.
Yeah.
They didn't do the worst, but we definitely need to. And I think I would want to go vets on the O-line.
Okay.
I think if we're going to change the O-line, it would need veterans that just already know, and I think can get in there and learn it. But my two takes. They were controversial. I want Vic Fangio gone. I'm done with him. I've seen all that I need to see, and he can go retire to Boca Raton and
Boca Vista.
Live out his years of elderly.
With Bill Belichick. Yeah,
they can, you know what? They can go draw up some schemes at the shuffleboard court. I'm done. I had such high expectations. I wanted him. I heard he was the guru. And I think that he's a stubborn old man. Some things came out that, he didn't really give all of our players a look, that he missed part of the training camp over the summer. And it seemed like he didn't develop the young guys. Free Cam Smith. Yeah. I've made that a hashtag. And he kept Eli Apple in for how many weeks? And toast. Continue to put Cater Kohu in coverage. Cater Kohu cannot cover a receiver. And for being a guru and knowing this, and how many games did our guys look like they had no idea who was covering what scheme? They were so confused. Mm-hmm. And I've heard that it's because it's a confusing scheme that a lot of our players didn't. And even Javon Holland said on Hard Knocks that they were struggling to get it. And I think that showed, especially at the end of the year. So I don't think that he did. And my hot take was that I would pay a lot to get Rex Ryan or Pettin in coach our defense.
So you want Rex Ryan to come out of making all that money, sitting up in his chair, and
Rex Ryan would never leave except for a ton of money and a head coaching position.
Yeah,
but I think for a defensive mind, I think he could do wonders. Pettin's also out there. But I've had it with Fangio. I think I was it. And then my second take is going to be that we bring in, like you said, Ashley, we bring in competition for Tua. I'm not saying exactly.
You're not saying cut him. You're not giving them red slip.
Right? I think, like you had mentioned, like a Russell Wilson, I think bring in a veteran who can step in if need be, but somebody that challenges Tua, because Mike White and Skylar Thompson are not challenging Tua. Mm-hmm. And maybe a veteran that can give him some guidance.
Yeah.
He had the year with Ryan Fitzpatrick, but he ran 6 times in the whole season. Yeah. That's insane to me. And so maybe a veteran that can kind of help him, because he really needs help reading the defense.
Yes.
Because if you notice, and I compare him to like Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning, if you listen to the Manning cast, he can tell you exactly what that defense is about to do. He can read that field. That's an elite quality. I think Tua doesn't have that quality and struggles. And as soon as his timing's off, his first and second read aren't there, he really struggles to figure out what to do next. And that's when he goes back to old Tyreek in the middle. And it usually ends up in a pick because Tyreek's triple covered. Yep. And it shouldn't have gone there. So I think that maybe a veteran presence that can just help him, but challenge him, because I know that people say Flores killed Tua, but you can't coddle him either. Like there has to be a balance.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of what you're saying. I mean, all of what you're saying, Courtney. I mean, for me, it just baffled me that, Ethan Bonner saw more playing time than Nick Needham or Cam Smith. I mean, that's just absolutely crazy to me. Shout out to Miss Shannon Ann. We love her.
We love her.
We
You
love
guys never met
her.
her in person, have you?
I haven't
No, have
yet.
you?
Do you have? Yeah. Oh, you haven't had her cookies yet. No, she's part of our DCC team. She comes to our tailgates. She's like the cutest. She came to Fans Club weekend last year. She is adorable. Like, I mean, you see her on social media, but until you meet her and hug her, like, she's everybody's mama. Like, she's the best.
Yeah, she's so wonderful. I love her. And then, I posted earlier on X during the game, and like I basically said in the post that, I want a QB who's as mobile as that, and I was like, ooh, and I'm gonna walk out the door now. But for me, it's like, do I need someone who can run a 50-yard, play like Josh Allen and like get that physical? Would it be nice? Good. Are there not a lot of quarterbacks out there like that? Sure. But to your point, Courtney, I mean, the longest yardage Tua picked up this year was 10 yards. And that was against KC. Now, granted, that's because he's bulked up and he's trying to avoid concussions and all of that. But at the end of the day, I mean, you want your quarterback to have some mobility. I mean, pick us up more than one first down every 8-9 games. I mean, that would be really nice,
and we didn't sacrifice a healthy Tua season for the whole roster to go down with injuries as well.
Yeah, exactly.
I know we focused on keeping him healthy all season, which I'm glad, thanks be to God, everything turned out well. But we lost how many starters? But you can't correlate one for another. But I'm just saying, like,
I feel like we put too much of our prayers into Tua, and we.
Yeah, right.
No, guess what? Kept him healthy, but there's your entire defense on the bench. Okay, Nick wants us to answer his comments. Let's see.
What you got?
Said that, at best, Tua is a Ryan Fitzpatrick or a Jake Plummer. I'm not familiar with Jake Plummer, but
I mean, Ryan Fitzpatrick, I
think the difference here is that
a notorious backup, I guess.
Is like a mid-level, high mid quarterback in the NFL. Yeah. Not the elite tier, should be your number one starter. And I kind of agree that I don't think Tua is at an elite level yet. He's definitely mid to above mid. I think there's worse than Tua, but there's obviously better than Tua. I think the question is, do we think that we've seen Tua's ceiling, or do we think that Tua can continue to improve? And if so, how many more years are we going to give him? We did 7 with Tannehill. So
what big game has he won? He hasn't won a big game.
I think the only game you can say that he really like went down the field and like a final drive was in that Cowboys game. I mean, that was time for him to suit up and showed up, and he did. I mean, he went down the field. I mean, granted there were run plays, but that was the first time I personally have seen him put the team on his back and like him and McDaniel call up the plays that needed to happen to win the game.
Even the Cowboys game, I mean, it was a lot of Jeff Wilson runs. I really, not since the Ravens game last year have I seen Tua like need to sling it downfield and bring us with his arm. Tua is calculated. I'll give him that. Fitzpatrick just kind of lets it go.
Yeah.
But that's just, it's hard to compare two, because they do play different styles, I think.
Very different.
But Tua, that was a big problem for me. I don't know about you guys, but the lack of emotion on the sidelines.
All season.
Like, I don't know if that bothered you guys too. I mean, I don't want to do like a rag on the Dolphins, but like I said, I think I was drunk on one of the pods, and I said, like, I would have liked to see somebody punch each other in the face or, like, threaten to, like, you know what I mean? Like, smack some sense into somebody.
Even last game, delay of game, like, yeah, we're in the fourth delay of game, like, we're not moving the ball, like, it just, there's no urgency with him, right? And
it's just like, and it's the whole team, though.
Yeah, I was gonna
No
say
one wants to get fired up.
the whole team.
Ramsey. I see Ramsey get there and, like, yell at some of the guys occasionally. Other than that, they're just like, oh, all right, guys, let's go. Like, it's like his backyard, like, football.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. I don't think I can recall one time, and correct me if I'm wrong, is there one time Tua came off the field and he got in all of his guys' faces
No.
and were like, this is what, I mean, you talk about Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning used to chew out his players.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Ben Roethlisberger coming off the sidelines and just, like, letting anything fly with, like, AB or
Yeah.
any of those receivers? No.
No.
Yeah, that's a thing for me. Here's the thing. Do we think Mozart's coming back next year?
He's old. No, trust me, he's my favorite player on the team,
I
right?
love
I love him. I met him. I support his foundation. But as a running back, he's 31, and we know that the running back's life expectancy in the NFL is not long. And he's played with so many teams. He's dealt with so many injuries. I want him forever. I want him until the sky and everything, blah, blah, blah. But I don't know, right? Like, he had one great year. Is that all that we're going to have, or is this going to be the continuation for the next 3 years? So I don't know.
That's what I want. Because him and Achan are like the new Ricky and Ronnie for me.
Yes.
Like, I love them.
Yeah.
And I would like to see them next year if McDaniel can figure out how to not abandon them and, like, feed them the ball more so that we're relying less on Tua and, the receivers. I think that needs to work it out. I don't know. I love them as a duo.
I think too, it's up to, like, there's all of this controversy. Like, so many running backs are getting, like, a bad deal in the NFL. Like, teams are picking them up for, like, 1 year, and they're giving them, like, a 1-year contract. And I think it is hard with Mostert, to sign him to this long contract based on his age. So I guess the question for me, and I don't know if this is the question, but is Mostert willing to sign a 1-year contract? Is that something that he's willing to do? If you're the Dolphins, I don't know how long of a contract you sign, but it kind of sucks for all running backs in the industry right now, because some of them, a lot of them really deserve it, but teams are just not shelling out the money for that.
I think it's because they get beat ups. Like, running backs, I think, are probably the less longevity.
So someone just said Mostert is under contract.
For how long? That's what I was wondering. I just didn't know how long he was, and if he was definitely coming back. He could be considering retirement. I don't really know, because you don't really see running backs go as long as he's been going, because the beating that they take on their body.
For 24, another year.
Okay, well
that's fair.
That's fair. Then that's one crisis semi-averted, because those are two playmakers I think that we need to keep.
I think, like, a good tight end too, right? Like, remember Gesicki, but Gesicki really didn't fit into Mike McDaniel's play call, and so then obviously he's up in New England. But, like, a good tight end to help with that offense would be pretty stellar.
Do we think McDaniel would actually utilize the tight end, though?
I don't.
Probably not one.
I don't think he's built a system for tight ends. I just don't think that that's his
style, his swag.
San Francisco with Kittle, you'd think that he would respect a tight end,
like, a good one, yeah.
In the middle, like a big body in the middle, like use him like a Kelsey, a Kittle, like. Yeah. I think that's. I mean, look at what the Chiefs really don't have a great receiver. I don't think they don't have like a Tyreek anymore. Mm-mm. But look what Travis Kelsey has done for Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
And I definitely, I would like to see a tight end. That would be.
I don't know about you ladies, but I respect a good tight end.
Amen, sister.
Isn't that a shirt that says, like, I like tight ends and a strong D, and it has a football on it?
So I actually became a Dolphins fan because of a former tight end that we had. I don't know if you guys know my story, but real quick, Anthony Fasano is the reason why I'm a Dolphins fan.
Oh, yes, I loved him.
Growing up, I was a huge sporty spice, but just baseball and basketball. Like, I didn't like football, so I moved down to Miami in 2008. And immediately when I moved down here, I was like, I don't like this place. So I was going to go home, and Anthony Fasano, being Italian from Jersey, like I am, he I mean, made me fall in love with the game. And so I actually had the chance to tell him during training camp this year, I'm like, you are the reason I'm me. So I appreciate you. So I'm all about tight ends.
I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I remember Fasano.
He was great. He was awesome. Those
So if
are
it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have a 305 sports babe.
I know.
We're all
How
going to send him
about
crumble
that?
cookies.
What?
What'd you say?
We're going to send him crumble cookies.
Yeah, we need to send him crumble cookies as a thank you.
Oh, yeah, no, he's
You don't know this,
Marino.
but
Mine is the basic of Dan Marino. I think Marissa, yours is too, right?
what?
Ours are just basic Dan Marino.
I mean, mine's just my family. I mean, mine was
Yeah.
my family was before Marino. I mean, they
Aw.
were there when Marino got announced, and they were huge Dolphin fans. And they're like, "Well, this will either go really well or really, really bad, depending on how well this Marino guy does for the Dolphins." So, having my last name in South Florida.
So I rebelled, and I chose Dan Marino and the Dolphins, and my dad is still disappointed in me to this day.
Aw.
But because I was the opposite. I'm from Florida, but then I moved up here to Philly. And so I usually go to the MetLife Takeover. That's when I can go see. I didn't go to Philly this year because obvious reasons. I'm not going to go
Because you wanted to live.
well, I'm not going to go to the link. I don't care what anybody says, but like Eagle fans are very. They'll tell you that they're not, but it's not safe. Especially I was going to go alone with like my youngest son, who I've like converted. It's not safe. Some are great.
Yeah.
But they like tailgate, and like by the time the game starts, they're hammered, they're aggressive, and they just think that no opposing team should be in their city.
Oh,
That's their philosophy. Like, it's not like, yeah, come support our city, come hang out. It's like, this is our city, you shouldn't be here. Like they've hit people, they've thrown batteries, like there were like a bunch of drunk guys that like cornered this year, like 2 girls that were like trying to walk into the stadium. I forget what team they were with. Like it's not a safe place. So I avoid it at all costs. Although I am going to Wells Fargo to watch the Sixers and the Heat play. But Sixers fans are a little nicer.
That'll be fun.
Oh yeah. I'm very excited. I'm trying to figure out how to sneak onto the court.
well, I can tell you during the Kansas City game, obviously it was freezing. And we had 2 Chiefs fans sit behind us, 2 Asian guys. And after the first quarter, they said, hey, we have a suite. Do you want to come in our suite? So they actually brought my fiance and I to their suite for 2 quarters of the game. And it was a suite full of Chiefs fans. They could not have been sweeter. So I think there's good and bad. Yeah, and they had no business to even do that. They, just 2 regular guys. They saw we were uncomfortable, but I wasn't like crying. But everyone was cold. And they said, hey, come up with us. I thought maybe they'd kill us. They didn't kill us. And then everybody in that suite, the mayor of Wichita was there. It wasn't a Taylor Swift suite, but it was a suite. And
mayor, I think
there's good and bad at every franchise with fans.
Yeah. I mean, Courtney knows this about me, and I might be canceled for this, but my second team is the Eagles. That's why I'm wearing this color for their game tonight.
Wow.
A lot of my family, half of my family lives up in Philly. And so a lot of them are big Eagles fans. So that's my second team, but they're in the NFC. So anybody who wants to get on my back for it, just, they can back off. But, Dolphins #1 for sure.
Giants are my NFC. I've dated plenty of Giants fans in my life that it has to be in my blood a little bit. So I get it. I get it.
Okay.
I don't have a number 2.
That's normal. That's normal not to have
You're
a
a real
team.
one. You're a real one.
It's Dolphins or bust.
That's more than normal.
I mean, I guess you could say like if it doesn't affect the Dolphins, I'm like forced to like clap for the Steelers, so my family doesn't own me.
Yeah.
But I'm not like their fan. I think I do have a terrible towel in the house, but it's my son's. I definitely, I'm like obsessively loyal, as I think we've learned this season about me and Xavier Howard and Cam Smith. So I just fixate and I'm done. But since we should plan, who do we play away next year? Because the next time they come up here, maybe for the MetLife Takeover, the 3 of us, you guys should come up here and hang out with me for it, because I'll go. You have family in Philly. You're from Jersey. I feel like we can have a reunion special.
I would love that. I know for sure the 3 games that we're looking to do away, Green Bay, granted, it's not in December.
Right.
We're also looking at Seattle, and we're looking at possibly the Texans. And what we'll do is we'll do like a pregame, a tailgate, group tickets through my company with my fiance. But I want to do a trip without the fiance. So you guys,
Have you been for MetLife Takeover? Because
we went
Dolphins
last year. Yeah,
NYC, they do.
it's the best.
There's like thousands of them. Like they bust in. They meet at Slattery's and they bust themselves in.
Yeah, we did it this year. It was great. It was amazing. It was so
But,
it was
yeah.
Thanksgiving, so we got to see the city in like that Christmas mode. We saw the Rockettes. So it was really, really a great trip. So let's like do something together.
Yeah.
World's only girl power.
She's whispering like we keep like
She's
nobody.
in the other room, and I don't want to know.
Nobody watching. Tell Ashley's fiance what we're planning. Just shh.
Don't tell I'm going to Jersey with the girls.
Dirty Jersey, baby.
I love that. If you go to Texans, you have to let me know because I'm in Mississippi. So
Close. Yeah.
Texas is my next door neighbor. So you know.
We're
That'll be
planning
a
on it. Would love to get
Jay's
down there.
crowd. I think that'll be a game.
Yeah.
That'll be a good game. I gotta ask, Ashley, what are your thoughts on Tommy DeVito?
I love him.
Jersey.
Oh my gosh. And you know, I get a lot of crap for it, but I'm all about it, right? His little mafioso agent, lives at home, born and raised. I'm all about it, right? Not saying he comes down here because that would raise all, fire down here, but I'm all about it. I want the shirt. I want to eat his mom's food. I want to kiss him on his cheek. I want to hug his agent. I'm all about it. I'm all about it. I'm on it. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid.
Literally, people think that like it's an act, but from being from Philly, go to the Jersey Shore, he epitomizes Italian Jersey.
He's everybody. He's like my cousins, my uncles. He's everything we are.
It's authentic. Like that is my favorite thing about him is that in one interview he was like, "Yeah, I live at home with my mom. She makes my bed. She cooks my dinner. I come home. She has chicken cutlets ready for me." And then there was a photo. He tried to shoot his shot with Dua Lipa.
Yes, I saw that. Yeah.
After confessing that he lives at home with his mom. And I was like,
he's the best.
That takes some gumbo. Like
it's a beautiful
cool
story. Born and raised, went to Don Bosco Prep, which is a football powerhouse, and the fact that he still lives at home and mom and papa go, and then they make the chicken cutlets for the team, and then his agent looks like something out of The Sopranos. Like it is a beautiful, beautiful story.
By the way, someone needs to get G-Man the Dolphin out of this group chat. He's super disrespectful. I need to call him out for all the guys to go after him.
I just removed him. He likes to come in and troll on all of our shows.
Yeah.
I've never heard of him. He
doesn't show his face. He just likes to, I don't know if he just likes to stir the pot or if maybe like this is the only social interaction of the day. I'm not sure.
He's probably somebody who's living in his mom's basement. So,
with not cutlets. He's not going to cut cutlets.
Yeah, right. His mom didn't cook him dinner tonight, and that's okay. I get hangry too.
I get it.
I had one guy call me he was like, "You don't know anything about football. You're a blonde bimbo." And I was like, "Listen, I pay enough for this color that I should. I'm glad you think that I'm
Amen. Blonde. I get it.
You're not insulting me because I pay enough for it. Thank you. Thank you for finally saying that I should get the benefits of being blonde."
Yeah, I get it too.
Yeah, listen. One of the chats was like, I was like, "I'm Italian," and they're like, "How are you Italian and blonde?" And I was like, "It's hair dye."
Yeah,
it's hair dye.
Yeah.
No, there's a lot of trolls out there. I throughout the years I've gotten pretty good at it, and people have started to respect what I do, like outside of the with the organization and stuff. But still, like
I think you're killing it. I mean,
and you guys are
but like the fact that you could just like call up somebody in Kansas City and like organize that, I would never be able to. I mean, I think Marissa would because I feel like she has like a very.
I'm a planner, and my background is like events and catering before I got into finance. So yeah, totally up my alley.
I epitomize a hot mess. I call myself a hot mess mom. I'm a hot ass mess. So
you have what, 2 boys?
I have 3 boys.
Oh, boy, mom.
And they all play football. So
how beautiful.
Off season. But yeah, I'm a hot mess. So if you've seen my podcast, I'm not very well organized. I just wing it.
That's why we're such yin and yang. It's so great.
But I think it's great that like we're all so different, but we have common love and that we can come together. And I hate when they try to pit us against each other because I support nothing but both of you, all the females, everybody. And so they're like, oh, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, we actually like each other.
Yeah.
By the way, I don't know how the weather is for you, but they just canceled school because we're getting a snowstorm. What hit
Same here.
Buffalo is coming down.
Oh no! Wow.
My son just texted me to make sure that I knew that he didn't have to go to school tomorrow.
No school, Mom. I could stay up and watch the game tonight.
So I'm in Mississippi and it's 22 degrees right now and we have snow outside in Mississippi.
Is that normal?
Our state doesn't know how to function in this kind of weather. Like we are under a state of emergency because people in this state, if it drops below like 40,
They panic.
It's full on like crashing into cars. Nobody can get it because people panic so badly.
Is it normal for it to snow there? Like, does it normally get that cold, or is this like a
So it gets cold, but like for it to snow, it's happened one time. We had a really bad snowstorm like 2 years ago, and it's so weird. Like you think of Mississippi, you think of the South, and like we are. And so when it happens, it is full on like crazy pants in Mississippi. Like nobody can function.
Nobody can function when it snows. Like
Yeah.
people panic. They don't know. Like they don't know what to do. They're driving crazy. So I'm surprised that it's that cold in Mississippi, though. I definitely thought that was going to be. What's it in South Florida? You said it was like.
So I'm thawing out right now, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm like we have the house on 71 right now and I'm like sweating, and usually 71 is comfortable for me. So it's a big difference. I do have frostbite on my toes, not bad, but there is a little frostbite. But it's like 74 right now.
Oh, that sounds heavenly.
It's really, really comfortable. Yeah.
There's a couple of Dolphin fans that are still stuck in Kansas City.
Yeah, so that's ironic.
What happened? You're brave, because I'd be.
Well, what happened was originally when we booked the trip last Monday, we had it where first of all, flights were ridiculous. There's no flights below $1,200 coming out of South Florida. So the cheapest one we found had us going from Miami to Chicago, then connected in Chicago for 40 minutes, and then going to Kansas City. And I told my fiance, there's no way, first of all, we're going to get a flight to go from Miami to Chicago. And even if we did, we'd never make the connection flight. So I changed it. And I said, listen, you got to go with me here. I said, you just got to try, because I love travel planning and all this stuff. So I changed our flight from Miami directly to Dallas. And then from Dallas, I rented us an SUV and we drove up. And what I had to do just for peace of mind, I had to look at that original flight to see if it ever made it to Chicago.
Yes.
It did. It was 3 hours late. And the connection, we would have missed it. And then we'd had to drive from Chicago down, which it's terrible. Now, there's still a lot of ice and snow in KC. And then a lot of people connect in Dallas if you fly American. And Dallas had a huge snowstorm or ice storm yesterday. So I changed our flight again. See, I'm really good at decisions. You can see this. And we flew out the first flight this morning, 5 a.m. Oh, so I'm exhausted. 5 a.m. direct flight to Miami. Well, that flight was delayed because the plane was frozen. Like the wings were frozen, so they had to defrost the plane, and then the fuselage where the fuel goes in was frozen too. So a lot of people on the flight missed their connecting if they connected out of Miami into somewhere else. So it's just terrible. Okay, long story short, it was really hard to get in and out of KC. Really, really tough. Really, really, really tough. Very challenging.
You are a OG, like ride or die, like for real. Yeah, that is commitment.
It was an adventure. It was a very long car ride. We actually stopped in Oklahoma City. Well, I was like, when will we ever have a chance to go to Oklahoma City? So we actually got to do the Oklahoma City bombing museum. We saw where the Thunder play. We stopped in Stillwater. So we saw those college towns. But the average person's not making that trip. I turn adversity into opportunity. There you go. That's the best way to put it. Or I'm crazy, one or the other. But it's fun. You live life once.
Someone needs to take Evan's keyboard away from him.
Evan still the skills, but he's like, you need to turn.
Okay, coach.
Just let him go. He's harmless. That's I like really commend all of you and like Dolfreaky and everybody who travels to as many games. Like I'm jealous because I wish I could. But with 3 kids and a full-time job, it's just not feasible for me to travel. But I commend all of you and like love the hell out of all of you that go and like support our team on all the games. I think it's phenomenal. And I'm gonna have you book all of my vacations from now on. By the way,
I got you, girl. Don't you worry. You won't be dealing with any flight delays or any of that. You will have the most.
You're gonna book it for me, and then I'm gonna have Marissa plan my itinerary.
There you go.
And I just want them to be set.
You're golden. You're golden. Yeah, I don't really have an excuse for not going because I don't have 3 boys. But we'll see.
hard. And it's also hard. You work, you have a dog.
Yeah.
You know, it's scheduling is hard sometimes during the year. So nobody.
So what's really ironic with me is that I work for the Catholic Church in school. I work in development. I do a lot of fundraising. It's my real job. My boss was the chaplain for the Dolphins for 12 years.
Oh,
So
wow.
every team has a chaplain that either the organization decides how involved they want the chaplain. Some people have the chaplain on the sidelines every game. Some people have the chaplains, in the back. The Dolphins, with my boss, had him every game, sideline, home and away. So when I tell my boss, hey, I have to go to Kansas City this weekend, he understands. So that's my only thing. But yeah, the chaplain part, every team has one. Baseball, football always has a religious leader there for the players,
I love
the
that.
organization all the time.
I didn't know that. I love that though.
Yeah.
I also love your connection then. You get a lot of leeway then. He's like, sure. Yeah.
If you need any prayers, I got you. I work at the church. You let me know who you need prayers for. I got you.
Love that.
My mom is very big in the Catholic Church too. So
It's a beautiful thing. Yeah.
yes. Ashley will warn you that Evan likes to troll, but he's a very nice guy. He's very nice. He just likes
He's a friendly troll.
he likes to rise out of people. He's not mean. He won't bash you. He just likes to get a rise out of Dolphin fandom. And it's not that hard to do right now.
No.
We're all we're easy targets.
It's easy targets, but we're also fighting amongst ourselves, which needs to stop. Because at the end of the day, none of us control what the Dolphins are going to do. We can predict all we want, but they're going to do what they want. I'm waiting for them to hire me. They have yet to hire me. I'm not sure what my job title would be other than just VP of fandom or
I like it.
Hot, who doesn't need a hot mess on the team? Just to when you're panicking, I'll just slide in and be like, guys, we're good. Fine.
Hired.
We can fix this. It's cool. I don't think they would hire me for PR. They would have to hire Marisa for PR because I am not media friendly. I don't think.
I will present what you want to say in a way that the viewers can digest and receive positively.
Yeah, I think the first and only time I was on Dolphins Talk with you guys the other day, the first thing out of my mouth was, I wonder if Patrick Mahomes is gonna deflate the balls too. I wonder if he's gonna have trouble handling the rock hard balls. I definitely made a Patrick Mahomes hard ball Tom Brady deflategate comment, and I was like, that's probably the last time they're ever gonna have me on that show.
No, not true. Adversity is opportunity.
Yeah. Well, we were talking.
We need that shirt.
I put a thing, and I was like, should I live stream myself at the Heat game? Because that could just be a hot mess of me up in the rafters. I'm going with so my oldest son's a Sixers fan. His friend's coming. He's a Sixers fan. My brother's just coming for another adult. And then my youngest, I'm converting to Sixers. He's a really big Jimmy Butler fan. He loves, he has a little shirt from last season. So I was like, what if I just live stream me and the Phillies fans, the Philly fans just in the rafters, because they're nicer. I think Sixers fans will be nicer.
Now, will you be swinging from the rafters or just
listen?
Okay.
The tickets to the Sixers game were on Groupon.
Wow.
And they were starting at $22 a ticket.
Oh my goodness.
So it was I could have and even to get close to the floor, almost floor level, it was really only $300 to $400 a ticket.
It's not bad. It's not bad at all.
So I wasn't sitting at the floor because as soon as I get there, my kids are going to want about $10,000 worth of concession stand foods.
Yeah.
Oh, we went to the Flyers game. I got free tickets to the Flyers game. My son wanted a cotton candy, $20 for one stick of cotton candy at the Flyers game. I was like, I'm sorry, what? But he had already ate it, so there was no point. I
would have been we're popping some Orville Redenbacher and putting it into plastic baggies, which is what my mom did when we would go to the movies as kids, and shove it in her purse. My mom would run to CVS to get candy. What?
Did yours bring? My mom would bring actual Pepsi cans, and so you go and
everything.
You crack open.
We would go to CVS. We all picked out our candy. She would have our popped popcorn in bags, and we would roll in there she was a pro at making sure we had what we needed.
No, mine was the same way. I mean, I'll tell you, there's nothing scarier than when you're trying to quietly pop that can open so that the doesn't know that you have a literal can of soda because she wasn't going to pay like the $5 for the drink. Oh yeah.
That's when you cough. You go and you open
Yeah.
it.
This was back in the day, though. You know, we're aging ourselves.
And then as an adult, it grows into opening up a bottle of wine with a wine opener in the,
Oh my
in the movie
gosh.
theater.
I got champagne as like a gift, and I was like, I'm gonna make mimosas. It was for the London game, not that we, the Germany game. It was a morning game, and I was like, I can't do like the tequila that I normally do.
Oof.
So I was like, I'm gonna be classy and do a mimosa. I couldn't open the champagne. I had to go to my 16-year-old and hand him a bottle of champagne. I'm like, I'm gonna need you to pop this cork.
2 seconds. 1, 2.
Yeah, right. Oh, he plays football. He got that right out.
I was saying, if he did that really well, I might be concerned. Why is he so good at that? Has he been
I
practicing?
mean, there was a struggle to twist off, but
Okay, good. All right.
he has one of those like hand grippers that I still don't realize like does anything. I guess it actually does. Like,
But they go around the house like this all day long.
Can I tell you, they got a chin up bar.
Oh gosh.
It's just it's in a different doorway every day. And then they're not doing reps or like normal. Like you just like they'll go on, but I bet you can't do 5. I bet you can't do 1. And they challenged me to do it. I couldn't even lift myself an inch off the ground. I was like, this is
I think there's one of those in like every frat boy house in America is a pull-up bar.
Probably you can get them anywhere.
Yeah.
And it's hard. I told my kids all the time, I was like, listen, you guys are all athletes. You got that athletic ability from me. So I had to drain it out of my body to give to you. I'm no longer the phenomenal athlete that I was because you're literally each a third of the athletic ability I had in my body.
How old are they? You have a 16-year-old now?
16, 11, and 6.
Wow. So that's a gap between your 16 and your 6. Yeah.
It's a gap. And they all play sports. So they're all at 3 different levels of football.
Yeah.
3 different games, 3 different practices. If you think I'm a psycho during a Dolphins game, I have a reputation on the sidelines of youth sports.
You're that mom.
Yeah. I asked a ref to meet me in the parking lot one time. He wasn't calling a fair game.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. You want to see me in my prime? It's going to be, I literally like my youngest son, my middle son's coach. I don't think for 2 years made eye contact with me. Like it was basically just like, no, they were like, just let her go out. Cause I'm not do it.
Now, are you the mom with like the wine in her tumbler on the sidelines?
There's different kinds of moms. There's like me, I'm like watching the game.
Okay.
I like got in trouble because I was yelling to my son what the defense was going to do. Like I was like calling out. I'm like, listen, it's going to be a run to the outside. Like, and the other team was getting mad. I'm like, maybe hide your formation. I don't know what to tell you. And I'm like really hard on my son too. But one mom got mad at me because her son was the quarterback and he kept trying to take off to run with it, but he would fumble every time. And he got mad that I was like, somebody needs to teach that kid how to secure the football. I don't think it was a bad thing to say. Like,
No.
he needs to secure the football. Then there's the moms. I'm not kidding you. They bring yoga mats and they do group yoga together.
Oh no.
I'm not that mom. I'm gonna let you guys know that's not.
They're the moms who hand out participation trophies.
they do group yoga and then they clap at the wrong time.
Like, oh no,
because they're not.
No.
Nope. Then
We're not friends with those types. We're not friends.
Then there's like the team mom types that are like helping and doing that. I'm not. I got banned actually once. They told me that I wasn't allowed to like help on the sideline because they were just like worried that I would get into a ref's face.
I like those type of moms though. You know, they're all like the hoorah. Yeah, they help do the dirty work. They bring the candy. They bring the waters. Those are okay, right? We could deal with those.
You need those.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's like, it's really, I like to say, like, if you don't have kids, just go to any youth sporting game and just sit there and watch the parents because it will be free reality television for you.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Because there are several kinds. And like, I'm on like the high end of this, like people laugh. Like I was the announcer for the flag games. Like they gave me a microphone and I was up at the press box.
Oh gosh, someone gave you a microphone?
Listen, you're not the first person to say that. People are like, do they know you?
They don't know you.
You gave it to me, can't take it away now. I was the flag team mom. So that was fine because like flag is hysterical. I don't know if you've seen a bunch of like little 6-year-olds running around. My son was the quarterback, and he averaged 5 touchdowns a game.
Nice.
He was Lamar. Like they obviously they weren't throwing it, but like he would keep it. Run. So Dolphins in like, I don't know, 18 years, 17, 16, give us a call if we need a quarterback.
Evan
They'll
wants
still be
to
writing
know,
Tua though. They'll be like, give Tua a shot. He's still our number 1, even in 18 years.
They're still going to be Tua.
for sure.
What did Evan want to know?
He said, "What were each of you doing in life when the Dolph Frauds last won a playoff game?" I was 13.
That was 2000. 2000?
Yeah.
I wasn't a Dolphins fan. I became a fan in 08.
Yeah.
So I was
Is that exactly?
I was in elementary school.
Yeah. I was 13, had like butterfly clips in my hair, and
If you were 13, then I was like 11.
Yeah, I'm the wait, you were in elementary school, Ashley?
Yeah, I'm early 30s, yeah.
Oh my gosh,
I'm
I am
baby.
I'm like early 30s.
No, you would be older than I would think, Ashley, in 2000?
So 2000. So how I remember life is 2000. So my dad was a first responder 9/11.
Okay.
He lived. So
Okay.
2001, I was in 5th grade.
Okay.
So that's a pivot point of my life.
Okay, got it.
So 2000, I was in 4th grade.
Gotcha.
I don't know what grade I was in.
Yeah, I must have been. Then that's probably right, because I think
I was probably
if I was 13, I was like in 7th grade or middle school. So I'm the oldest one of all of you. That makes me.
I was like 4th or 5th grade then. Yeah. So I was probably traumatized from 3-way phone calls. You never had a girl call you and then the other person was muted on 3-way. To this day, I will never say anything crazy on a phone call because I'm like, I don't know who's on the other line.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a really crazy story about that, and I'll have to share that off the books.
I was also probably still fangirling really hard over NSYNC.
Yeah.
I liked the Dolphins, but I was more like hormonal teenage girl.
Yeah. I was Jason Kidd. I was a huge New Jersey Nets fan growing up. That's actually my sport that I'm diehard basketball. That was before I became football. So Jason Kidd was my life. That's what I was doing back in 2000s. Jason Kidd. I wasn't doing him. I was following him.
Kevin Garnett. And
Kobe.
Kobe was my family was real. My family are Laker fans.
Oh.
So I grew up on Kobe. I was a cheerleader and a basketball player.
Nice.
So I have a really great quote for that. I asked my dad when I was younger if I could be a cheerleader, and he told me I couldn't because he wanted me to cheer for my own accomplishments and not other people's accomplishments.
Wow. Self-esteem.
But fast forward, I'm a senior in high school and I got my yearbook. So he pulled out his yearbook and it was the cheerleader section. And he's like, oh yeah, I dated her and her and her and her and her. I said, now I know you didn't care about me rooting for my own accomplishments. You thought cheerleaders were a certain way. And
the hoochies.
Yeah, I stopped cheering in high school because I grew up in South Florida and I did competitive cheer. I did all-star cheer down there. I would watch the game, but I didn't like sitting on the sidelines cheering for the football players. I didn't want to cheer for them. My brother played, my dad coached, my mom was team mom. Like we had like a whole 90s. But once I moved up here, they really didn't do all-stars. Cheer wasn't as competitive up here. And the high school team only sideline cheered. And they had a reputation that your dad's probably familiar with. And so I stopped because I was like, no. I want to like compete. Like I want to go to a competition. I want to do stunts. I want to do this. And they were like, we don't do that. They didn't even have like a halftime routine really.
Oh.
It was like real basic, like
very surface level.
Yeah. And I was like, that's not what I'm into.
Well, I think it's a good one. If there's any dads listening right now, just tell your daughter you want her to cheer for her own accomplishments and not other people's, and it'll shut it down real quick. Like I had
that's powerful. You like shut me down with that.
Yeah, I'm like,
I know.
Okay.
I was like, go back. I'm like, wait a minute, maybe I need to rethink some things in my life right now. That was great. Your dad gets a lot of credit for that.
Right.
That's my second favorite quote behind adversity is opportunity.
There you have it. We've completely gone off like the
No,
rails at this
life
point.
lessons with girl power. Girl power
I
life
mean,
lessons.
The Eagles are playing now. I think they're the game now.
I know, right?
Are they? All right. Well,
Yeah.
thank you, girls, for coming on.
Yes.
Thank you for having us.
Getting off topic with you.
I hope everybody learned so much.
I hope you learned a lot about Dolphins and life. We didn't even touch on the Miami Heat, but we can do another Dolphins
Another episode. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I'm going to start transitioning here into Heat territory.
Yeah, for sure.
And maybe I'll be live streaming getting arrested at Wells Fargo Center. Who knows? It's
I want to see you
Valentine's
live stream of these football games. I'm more interested in that. I got to see what really goes on at these football
I
games.
can send you guys clips.
Yeah.
I am filming. You will hear nothing but me screaming
Yeah.
like a banshee. I lose my voice every game. I'll
Yeah.
tell you a story after we get off. But all right. Well, I want to thank you girls for coming on. And tell everybody where they can find you if they don't already know.
Go for it.
305 Sports Babe, all social media platforms, and then 305 Sports Travel is my company. We do away games, home group tickets, all that good stuff, parties, did stuff in Canton, LA, and trying to grow it and see where that takes us. But 305 Sports Babe.
Shout out to Anthony Fasano for making that happen. I love
Thank
it.
you.
Must be Marisa 87 with one S on all social media as well. And then I am part of the Dolphins Talk family.
Yeah.
Shout out to Dolphins Talk. And I am with them on Tuesday nights at 6:00 Eastern. So tune into that. And I don't think that run interferes with your shows, right, Courtney? So I can shout that out at Tuesday at 6.
No, I'm Mondays at 7:30, and there's so many shows.
Perfect.
But no, you're shouting
Great.
out. Let them know. And as always, I'm doll_fan72, and you can find me right here on Dolphin Thirsty's channel Monday at 7:30. And I do a lot of these girl power segments because I want females on my show, not the males. All right, but as always, fins up, and I hope everybody has a good night.
Bye.